In this grand theater of life, we are all actors playing our parts in the divine drama. Yet how many of us truly recognize the subtle signs that the universe presents to us? How often do we overlook the whispers of God, gently guiding us toward destined blessings? Tonight we shall unravel these mysteries and awaken to the truth that lies within each of us. Before we delve into the 7 divine signs, let us first understand the nature of blessings. A blessing, my dear friends, is not merely a stroke of good fortune or a random occurrence. No, a blessing is a manifestation of your own divine nature, a reflection of your innermost desires and beliefs. It is the natural outcome of aligning yourself with the infinite power that resides within you. Now let us explore the first divine sign that you're being prepared for a blessing: unexpected challenges. You might wonder, Neville, how can challenges be a sign of an impending blessing? But this is where the magic lies. You see, challenges are not obstacles, opportunities for growth. They are the chisel with which the divine sculptor shapes you into the perfect vessel for your blessing. When you encounter unexpected difficulties, instead of lamenting your fate choice, for these challenges are preparing you, strengthening you, and aligning you with the vibrational frequency of your desired blessing. They are the furnace in which your faith is tested and refined. Consider the story of Joseph in the scriptures. Sold into slavery by his brothers, imprisoned unjustly, he faced challenge after challenge. Yet each of these trials was preparing him for the grand blessing of becoming the second most powerful man in Egypt and saving his people from famine. So, my friends, when you face unexpected challenges, do not despair. Instead, affirm to yourself, this challenge is preparing me for my blessing. I am being shaped and molded for greatness. Feel the truth of these words in your very being. Live from the end, seeing yourself already victorious, already blessed. Now let us move on to the second divine sign, heightened intuition. As you are being prepared for a blessing, you may notice that your intuition becomes sharper, more pronounced. You begin to experience hunches, gut feelings, and sudden insights that seem to come from nowhere. This, my dear listeners, is your inner divine speaking to you, guiding you towards your blessing. This heightened intuition is not some mystical power reserved for a chosen few. No, it is your birthright as a child of God. It is the voice of a higher self, your God self, communicating with you in the language of feelings and impressions. To cultivate this divine gift, you must learn to listen. In the quiet moments of your day, turn your attention inward. Feel the gentle nudges of your intuition. Trust the wisdom that wells up from within you. For in doing so, you are tuning into the frequency of your blessing. Imagine yourself as a radio receiver, just as you must tune to the correct frequency to hear a particular station. You must align your consciousness with the frequency of blessing to receive it. Your heightened intuition is the dial that helps you find that perfect frequency. Practice living from this state of heightened awareness. When you make decisions, big or small, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what does my intuition tell me? Then act boldly on that inner guidance, knowing that it is leading you towards your blessing. The third divine sign that you are being prepared for a blessing is synchronicities and coincidences. Have you ever experienced a moment when everything seemed to align perfectly? Perhaps you thought of an old friend, and moments later they called you, or you kept seeing the same number sequence everywhere you looked. These, my friends, are not mere coincidences. They are synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that signal your alignment with the divine order. When you begin to notice an increase in these synchronicities, rejoice, for it means that you are in harmony with the universal flow. You are vibrating at a frequency that attracts your blessing. These synchronicities are like signposts on your journey, confirming that you are on the right path. They are the universe's way of winking at you, saying, yes, you're getting warmer. Keep going. To fully embrace this sign, you must cultivate awareness. Pay attention to the small details of your day. Notice the patterns, the recurring themes, the seemingly random connections. For in these details lies language of the divine, speaking directly to you. And as you recognize these synchronicities, express gratitude. Thank the universe for these signs. Feel the joy and excitement of knowing that you are in perfect alignment with your blessing. For in this state of gratitude and joy, you become an even more powerful magnet for your desires. Now let us explore the fourth divine sign, a period of waiting or silence. This sign may seem counterintuitive. After all, shouldn't a blessing come with fanfare and excitement? But remember, my dear friends, that some of the most profound transformations occur in silence. Think of a seed planted in the earth. For a long time, nothing seems to happen on the surface. But beneath the soil, miraculous changes are taking place. The seed is cracking open, sending out roots, gathering strength for even eventual emergence. In the same way, when you experience a period of waiting or silence, know that powerful forces are at work beneath the surface of the consciousness. This is a time of gestation, of preparation. Your blessing is taking form in the unseen realms before it manifests in your physical reality. During this time, it's crucial to maintain your faith. Do not let doubt or impatience creep in. Instead, use this period of silence to deepen your connection with your inner being. Meditate, pray, or simply sit in quiet contemplation. Feel the peace that comes from knowing that your blessing is already your spiritual realm. Affirm to yourself, in this silence, my blessing is taking form. I am at peace, knowing that everything is working out perfectly. Live from this state of calm assurance and watch as your outer world begins to reflect this inner peace. The fifth divine sign that you're being prepared for a blessing is increased contrast or polarity. As you draw closer to your blessing, you may notice that the contrasts in your life become more pronounced. The highs might seem higher and the lows might feel lower. This increased polarity is not a sign that something is wrong. On the contrary, it's a clear indication that you're on the brink of a significant shift. You see, my friends, contrast serves a vital purpose in our journey to clarify our desires, sharpens our focus, and ignites our change. When you experience moments of intense contrast, the universe is asking you, is this what you want? Or do you prefer something different? In these moments of stark contrast, your task is to use your imagination, that God-given power within you, to focus on what you do want, rather than what you don't want. Use the contrast as a springboard to launch yourself into a vivid, imminent experience of your desired state. If, for example, you're experiencing financial difficulties, use that contrast to fuel a powerful imaginal scene of financial abundance. Feel the relief, the joy, the sense of security that comes with having more than enough. Live from that state, here and now, knowing that this imaginal act is the catalyst for your blessing. Remember, the outer world is nothing more than your consciousness objectified. By choosing to focus on your desired state, regardless of current circumstances, you are literally reshaping your reality from within. Now let's turn our attention to the sixth divine signs that inspire an inspiration or ideas. As you are being prepared for a blessing, you may find yourself flooded with new ideas or sudden bursts of inspiration. These are not random thoughts, my dear listeners, mesmerizing downloads, messages from your higher self guiding you towards your blessing. These inspirations might come as solutions to long-standing problems, creative ideas for your work, or sudden clarity about your life's purpose. When you receive these gifts of inspiration, treat them with reverence. They are precious seeds of your future blessing. But remember, inspiration without action is merely wishful thinking. When these ideas come to you, act on them promptly. Write them down, speak them aloud, take whatever steps you can to bring them into physical reality. For in doing so, you are co-creating with the divine, actively participating in the manifestation of your blessing. Cultivate a state of receptivity to these inspirations. Before you go to sleep at night, or as you wake in the morning, affirm, I am open and receptive to divine inspiration. Brilliant ideas flow to me effortlessly. Then, throughout your day, remain alert to the whispers of inspiration. Trust that each inspired thought is leading you closer to your blessing. And now we come to the seventh and final divine sign that you're prepared for a blessing, a sense of calm certainty. This sign is perhaps the most subtle, yet the most powerful of all. As you draw nearer to your blessing, you may experience the profound sense of peace, a quiet knowing that all is well. This is not a frantic, desperate faith that things will work out. Rather, it is a deep, unshakable certainty that your thing is already yours. This calm certainty is the hallmark of true faith. It is the state of consciousness that moves mountains and parts seas. Where you abide in this state, you are vibrating in perfect harmony with your desire, allowing it to flow into your experience with dreaded ease. To cultivate this calm certainty, you must release all anxiety, all doubt, all fear about the future. You must let go of the how and the when of your blessings manifestation. Instead, rest in the absolute knowing that what is yours cannot pass you by. Practice living from this state of calm certainty. When doubts arise, gently redirect your attention to this inner knowing. Feel the peace that comes from trusting in the perfect unfolding of your life. For in this state of trust, you become a clear channel for your blessing to manifest. Now, my dear friends, as we have explored these 7 divine signs, I want you to understand that they may not appear in any particular order. You might experience all of them, or only a few. The key is to remain aware, to stay attuned to the subtle guidance of the universe. But more importantly, I want you to grasp this fundamental truth. You do not need to wait for these signs to appear before you can receive your blessing. For you see, the greatest sign, the most powerful indicator that you are prepared for a blessing is your overall assumption of the state of being blessed. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, when you live from the end, as if your desire is already a present fact, you are in the highest state of receptivity. You are in that moment already blessed. So I say to you, do not wait for signs. Be the sign. Be the evidence of your own answered prayer. For your consciousness is the only reality. And what you assume as true in your imagination must inevitably express itself in your outer world. Imagine now that your desired blessing is already yours. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the sense of fulfillment that comes with its realization. Let this feeling permeate every cell of your being. Breathe in light from it, become one with it. As you go about your days, maintain this feeling. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. For in doing so, you are living in the end, and the end must produce the means. Your outer world has no choice but to reorganize itself to match your inner assumption. Remember, my friends, that time is a construct of the mortal mind. In the realm of spirit, where all creation takes place, there is only the eternal now. Your blessing is not something to be attained in some distant future. It is a present reality to be accepted and lived from now. So I urge you, do not say, I will be blessed. Say instead, I'm blessed. Feel the truth of these words. Let them sink deep into your subconscious mind. For your subconscious does not argue. It simply accepts what you impress upon it as true and works tirelessly to bring it into manifestation. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, what if I don't feel blessed? What if my current circumstances seem to contradict the blessing I desire? To this I say, your circumstances do not define you. They are merely the fruit of your past assumptions. Change your assumption, and you change your world. If you find it challenging to feel blessed in the face of contrary evidence, then I invite you to engage in a simple yet powerful exercise. Each night as you lay in your bed, review the events of your day. But do not review them as they occurred. Instead, revise them. See them playing out exactly as you would have wished them to be. If you had an unpleasant interaction with someone, replay that scene in your mind's eye, but this time, see it unfolding harmoniously. If you faced a financial setback, revise it on an expected windfall. Whatever circumstances you wish to change them first in your imagination. As you fall asleep in this revised state, you impress these new assumptions upon your subconscious mind. And remember, your subconscious is the builder of your tomorrow. What you impress upon it tonight, it will express in your outer world tomorrow. This practice of revision is not about denying or escaping your current reality. It is about exercising your God-given power to choose the states you wish to occupy. For in truth, every moment is a new beginning a fresh opportunity to align yourself with the blessing you desire. As you consistently practice living from the end, revising your day, and maintaining the feeling of being blessed, you will begin to notice changes in your outer world. These changes may be subtle at first, a shift in someone's attitude towards you, an unexpected opportunity, a solution to a problem that had seemed insurmountable. Acknowledge these changes, no matter how small, with gratitude, for they are confirmation that your new assumption is taking root, that your blessing is moving from the realm of imagination into physical manifestation. And as you notice these changes, let them fuel your faith. Let them strengthen your conviction that what you have imagined must come to pass. For this is the law of your being. What you believe and feel as true must objectify itself in your world. Now, my dear friends, I want to address a question that often arises when discussing this principle. Many ask, but Neville, what about the will of God? Shouldn't we submit to God's will rather than imposing our own desires? To this I say, your desires are God's desires. The longing you feel for your blessing is the divine stirring within you, seeking expression through you. When you imagine and feel your desires fulfilled, you are not working against God's will. You are aligning yourself with it in the most profound way possible. For you see, God's will is not something external to you, not some cosmic plan that you must decipher and obey. God's will is your will when you are in harmony with your divine nature. It is the impulse of creation that flows through you as you. So, when you act as if you're already blessed, when you live from the state of your wish fulfilled, you are in perfect with God's will. You are allowing the divine to express itself through you in all its abundance and glory. Understand this, my friends, you are not separate from God. You are an individualized expression of the divine. Your imagination is God in action. When you use your imagination lovingly and wisely, you are fulfilling your highest purpose as a co-creator with God. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, I want to emphasize a crucial point. The practice of living from the end, of assuming the state of being blessed, is not a one-time event. It is a way of life. It requires persistence, faith, and above all, love. Love, you see, is the highest and most powerful vibration in the universe. When you approach your desired blessing with love, love for yourself, love for others, love for life itself, you align yourself with the very essence of creation. So as you go forth from this place, carrying the knowledge of these 7 divine signs, remember this: the greatest sign, the surest indication that you are prepared for a blessing is your own loving assumption of the state of being blessed. Live from this state, breathe it, embody it, become it. Let every thought, every word, every action spring from this assumption. For as you do, you set in motion the forces that will reshape your world to match your inner vision. And know this, my dear friends, your blessing is not something separate from you. It is not a thing to be acquired or achieved. Your blessing is a state to be assumed, a consciousness to be embodied. As you assume this state fully and completely, you realize that you are the blessing you seek. In closing, I invite you to take a moment now to feel the truth of your blessed state. Close your eyes if you wish and allow yourself to sink deeply into the feeling of being blessed beyond measure. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the love that accompanies this state. Carry this feeling with you as you leave this place. Let it inform your every interaction, your every decision. For in doing so, you are living as the blessed being you truly are, and your outer world must conform to this inner truth. Go forth, my friends, in the knowledge that you are blessed, that you are loved, that you are divine. The power to manifest your heart's desires resides within you. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, and watch in awe as life transforms into a living testament of the boundless blessings that await those who dare to imagine and believe. Thank you, and may your imagination guide you to the fulfillment of your deepest desires.
Life unfolds in ways beyond our understanding, shaping us in the fire of experience, molding us through trials we do not choose. Yet in every challenge there is a hidden hand, guiding, refining, and preparing us for something greater than we can see. When God tests your faith, He is not punishing you, He is awakening you. He is calling you to rise above the illusions of the world, to see beyond your temporary struggle, and to claim the power He has placed within you. There are moments when the path seems uncertain, when doors close and when prayers appear unanswered. Doubt creeps in, whispering that you are alone, abandoned. But God does not leave those whom He calls. He strengthens them. He removes the distractions, the unnecessary attachments, the false beliefs that keep them bound. What feels like loss is in truth a clearing of the old to make way for the new. Faith is not merely believing in what is seen, it is standing firm when everything seems to be against you. It is holding on to the vision God has placed in your heart, even when the world says it is impossible. When Abraham was called to sacrifice his son, it was not a test of loss but of trust. And in that trust, God provided. When Joseph was betrayed, sold into slavery and imprisoned, it was not the end, but the necessary journey to a greater destiny. Every test was a preparation for his elevation. What if, in this very moment, what appears as difficulty is your greatest invitation to transformation? What if the pain is pushing you toward the breakthrough you have been asking for? God does not test the weak. He refines the strong. He stretches you beyond your comfort so that you may become the vessel capable of holding the blessings He has prepared. The question is not whether the test will come, but how you will respond. Will you collapse under the weight of the challenge, or will you stand firm, knowing that beyond this storm, a new reality awaits? The kingdom of God is within you, and in every trial you are being called to claim it. Do not waver. Do not allow the shadows of doubt to steal your divine inheritance. You are not being broken, you are being built. You are not being forgotten, you are being prepared. Every setback, every disappointment, every unanswered prayer is shaping you for something beyond what you can now comprehend. Trust that when the time is right, the doors will open and you will step into a reality greater than you ever imagined. Of all the mysteries of life, the greatest is this: what you now endure is shaping you for what you have asked for. It may not seem so in the moment, it may feel like the very opposite of what you desire, but consider for a moment that what you call struggle is, in truth, a preparation, a refining, a divine orchestration moving you towards something far beyond what you presently perceive. The mind, bound by appearances, sees loss, delay, and hardship as punishment. It questions, why me? Why must I endure this? But the Spirit knows otherwise. It recognizes that every test of faith is an invitation to transformation. You cannot step into something greater while clinging to what is lesser. You cannot receive the fullness of what God has for you if you are unwilling to release the limitations that confine you. There is a story unfolding in your life, one written before time itself. And in this story, every challenge is not a stop but a step. Every trial not a dead end but a doorway. You are being called to walk by faith, not by sight. The world tells you to trust what is visible, but God calls you to trust what is unseen. He whispers, look beyond the illusion, see with the eyes of faith. Think of the caterpillar confined in the darkness of the cocoon. It knows nothing of the wings it is about to receive. It only knows the struggle, the breaking, the discomfort. And yet, in that very breaking, it is being made new. It does not fight the process, it surrenders to it. It allows itself to be transformed, trusting in what it does not yet understand. And then, in perfect timing, it emerges, not as it once was, but as something entirely new. So it is with you. What feels like a breaking is a becoming. What feels like an ending is a new beginning. God is stretching you, molding you, refining you, not to harm you, but to prepare you. You are being made ready for something greater, something beyond your current imagination, and yet so many resist. They cling to the familiar, fearing what lies ahead. They pray for a new life, but resist the very process that brings it forth. What if you stopped resisting? What if, instead of seeing the trial as a curse, you saw it as a calling? What if you understood that the delay is not denial, but divine alignment? Every great purpose requires preparation. No seed bears fruit the moment it is planted. There is a season of growth, a time of unseen development beneath the surface. And so it is with you. Think of David, anointed as king, yet sent back to tend the sheep. Did he question why he was not immediately placed on the throne? Did he resist the process? No. He trusted, he prepared. He grew in the quiet places, in the fields where no one was watching. And when the time came, he was ready, not because the opportunity suddenly appeared, but because he had been shaped for it in the waiting. You too are in the fields. You too are being prepared. What you do in this season will determine how you step into the next. Will you grow in faith, or will you allow doubt to take root? Will you trust the process, or will you resist what is necessary for your elevation? God does not waste seasons. Every trial, every setback, every unanswered prayer is part of the divine plan. You may not understand it now, but one day you will look back and see how every moment was leading you to something greater. The pain was not wasted. The delay was not a mistake. The rejection was not a failure. It was all preparation. There is a version of you that already exists, the version that has stepped into the promise, the blessing, the fulfillment of what you have prayed for. But to become that person, you must first shed what no longer serves you. You cannot take old habits into a new season. You cannot carry doubt into a place of faith. You must be transformed. And transformation is never comfortable. It requires surrender, it demands trust, it calls for faith that goes beyond what you can see. When the storm rages, faith says, "This too shall pass." When doors close, faith says, "Something greater is coming." When all seems lost, faith says, "God is still in control." You were never meant to remain where you are. You were created for more, but more requires growth. It requires testing. It requires walking through the fire and coming out refined. Look at the great figures of faith. None of them stepped into their calling without first being tested. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before leading a nation. Joseph endured betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment before ruling in Egypt. Job lost everything before receiving double for his trouble. What you see as a delay is in fact divine development. What you see as a struggle is the strengthening of your spirit. God is not punishing you, He is preparing you. He is molding you into someone who can carry the weight of the blessing that is coming. If you received it now, unprepared, it would crush you. But in due time, when the work is complete, when your faith is unshaken, you will step into what has been prepared for you since the beginning. Do not let temporary trials steal your eternal promise. Do not let the lies of the enemy convince you that God has forgotten you. He has not. He is working even now in the unseen, in the quiet places where faith is forged. What you believe in this season will determine what you step into in the next. Will you trust the process? Will you stand firm in faith? Will you surrender to the work being done within you? If you knew what was coming, you would not doubt. If you could see what God has prepared, you would not fear. You would stand in confidence, knowing that every test is simply proof that you are being positioned for something greater. The pain is temporary, the struggle is momentary, but the promise is eternal. Hold on, trust, believe. You are being prepared for something far greater than you could ever imagine. As you walk through the journey of life, there are moments when it feels like the weight of the world is pressing against you, when every step feels heavier than the last, and when the promises you've believed in seem distant and unreachable. But I want you to understand this truth. It is in these very moments, in the depths of the struggle, that the greatest transformation is taking place. The world may not see it, but within you there is a deep work occurring, preparing you for the magnitude of what God has planned for your future. When you find yourself standing in the fire, feeling like you cannot endure any longer, remember that the fire is not there to consume you, it is there to purify you. Gold does not shine with its full brilliance until it has been through the furnace, purified by heat and refined by pressure. The pressure you feel today is not a sign that you are being broken. It is a sign that you are being made stronger more resilient, and more capable of carrying the weight of your dreams. Think of a seed buried deep within the soil. It cannot see the sunlight, it cannot breathe the fresh air, and it cannot feel the warmth that is promised. But in the darkness of the earth, something miraculous is happening. It is growing, it is preparing itself to break through the surface and reach for the light. It does not yet know the greatness it will become, but it trusts the process. It trusts the unseen hand that is guiding its every move. Just as the seed undergoes a silent transformation, so too are you being transformed in the unseen. What seems like a season of hardship is in truth a season of growth. When your faith is tested, God is not simply watching from a distance, waiting to see if you will falter. He is actively working within you, refining you, shaping you into someone who can carry the weight of the dreams He has placed in your heart. These dreams are not small, they are not fleeting, they are big, they are eternal, and they are worth the struggle. But you cannot carry such dreams in your current state. There is a preparation that must happen, there is a breaking that must occur. And yet in the breaking you will find your strength. The storms you are weathering are not to destroy you, but to fortify you. They are molding your character, teaching you endurance, patience, and the kind of trust that can only be developed in the wilderness. The trials you face today are teaching you to stand firm, not in your own strength, but in the strength of the one who is carrying you through. He does not test you to harm you. He tests you to equip you for what lies ahead. You may not understand the process, and you may even question the timing, but trust that God's timing is perfect. There are moments when it feels like God is silent, when your prayers seem to fall on deaf ears, when it seems as though He has forgotten you. But that silence is not abandonment. It is a sacred moment of preparation. In the quiet, God is working on your behalf, arranging circumstances, opening doors, and preparing your heart. Just as the seed must remain in the soil in order to grow, so must you remain steadfast in faith, trusting that the unseen work is happening even when you cannot see it. When you encounter obstacles, do not see them as barriers, see them as stepping stones. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow, stronger, to build your faith, and to draw closer to the one who is guiding you. You are not meant to remain where you are meant for greater things. And every test you face is moving you closer to that greater purpose. Think of the great leaders, the great men and women of faith throughout history. They did not achieve greatness without first enduring hardship. Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, but before he could do that, he spent years in the desert, learning humility, patience, and trust in God's provision. David was anointed king, but before he took the throne, he was a shepherd, alone in the fields, learning the lessons that would make him a great king. Joseph was given dreams of greatness, but before he could see them fulfilled, he was sold into slavery, thrown into prison, and betrayed by those closest to him. Each of these individuals faced trials, and each of them was refined in the fire of their circumstances. They emerged stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the purpose that awaited them. You are no different. The struggles you are facing today are preparing you for the greatness that God has in store for you. You may not see it now, but everything you are going through is a necessary part of the process. The pain you feel is not punishment. It is a preparation. The waiting you are enduring is not wasted time. It is a time of refinement. Every tear you shed, every moment of frustration, every time you feel as though you cannot go on, it is all part of the divine plan, shaping you, preparing you, and positioning you for something far greater than you can imagine. When you feel like giving up, when you feel like your faith is wavering, remember that you are in the midst of something bigger. You are not just enduring, you are being prepared. The dream God has placed in your heart is not just for today, but for the future. And the future requires a different you. It requires a version of you who is strong, steadfast, and fully capable of handling the blessings that are coming your way. Every great dream requires sacrifice. Every vision requires preparation. Every promise requires a season of testing. But these tests are not meant to break you. They are meant to build you. They are meant to shape you into the person who can handle the fullness of God's blessing. You are being prepared to step into a future that is far greater than your current reality. There will be moments when you question everything. You will wonder if the dreams you hold in your heart will ever come to pass. You will wonder if the pain and the waiting are worth it. But remember, the process is as important as the promise. The trials you face today are forming you into the person you must become in order to fulfill your purpose. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust that God is preparing you for something beyond what you can see right now. You are not alone in this. God is with you every step of the way, even when you cannot feel His presence. His hand is guiding you, His love is surrounding you, and His purpose is unfolding in your life. The trials you face are not evidence of God's absence, they are evidence of His faithfulness. He is with you in the struggle, He is with you in the silence, and He is with you in the waiting. And when the time is right, He will bring you into the fullness of what He has prepared for you. Do not fear the tests that come your way. They are not here to destroy you, they are here to build you. Do not fear the waiting, it is the time of preparation. The greater the test, the greater the blessing. You are being shaped, molded, and refined for something bigger than you can even comprehend. Hold on to your faith, stand firm in your belief, trust the process. The best is yet to come. There will be times when you feel completely overwhelmed by the weight of your circumstances, when the dreams you hold so dear seem impossibly distant, and when doubt begins to creep into your mind. You may feel as though you're stuck, as though no matter what you do, the path ahead remains unclear. But even in these moments of confusion, understand that God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating every detail of your life with divine precision. He sees the bigger picture, and though you cannot yet see it, He is preparing you for something far greater than you could ever imagine. Faith is not simply believing when things are going well. Anyone can do that. True faith is standing firm when everything around you seems to be falling apart. It is trusting in the unseen, knowing that God is at work even when the evidence isn't immediately visible. Your faith is being tested not to break you, but to strengthen you. The challenges and obstacles you face are the proving grounds for your faith, and each trial is an opportunity for you to deepen your trust in God, ability to bring you through, no matter how impossible the circumstances may seem. Consider the process of growing a tree. The seed is planted deep in the earth, hidden from the world. It is buried in darkness, subjected to pressure, and forced to push its way through the soil. The seed doesn't know exactly when it will break through the surface, but it trusts the process. It knows that in time the sunlight will touch it, and it will grow tall, strong, and fruitful. You too are like that seed. Even though you cannot see the results yet, even though the process feels slow and painful, God is working in the hidden places, preparing you to burst forth into the fullness of His purpose for your life. In these moments of pressure, it's easy to become discouraged. You may wonder why God is allowing you to experience such hardship, but it's important to recognize that the struggle is not the end of the story. It is merely a part of the journey. The storm will pass, and you will emerge stronger, more refined, and more capable of carrying the dreams and responsibilities that God has entrusted to you. Every challenge you face is shaping you into the person you are destined to become. The process of testing, though difficult, is a necessary part of your growth. Without it, you would not be prepared for what lies ahead. When you face a test, it's easy to want to rush through it, to find a way out or to escape the discomfort. But understand this: God is not interested in giving you an easy way out. He is interested in your transformation. The obstacles you face are not punishments, but opportunities for growth. They are opportunities for you to trust Him more deeply, to lean on His strength, and to discover just how much you are capable of when you surrender fully to His will. The greater the test, the greater the strength you will gain. There is a divine purpose behind everything that happens in your life, even the trials. God does not waste a single moment of your journey. Every hardship, every challenge, and every moment of waiting is part of His perfect plan for your life. When God tests your faith, He is refining you, purifying you, and preparing you for something far greater than you can currently understand. It's in these moments of testing that you discover the depths of your own strength, your own perseverance, and your own capacity for faith. But the testing of your faith is not just for you, it is also for the people around you. Your testimony, your ability to stand firm in the face of adversity will serve as a powerful example to others. When they see you endure through hardship with grace and unwavering trust in God, they will be inspired. Your journey will become a living testimony to the power of God's faithfulness, and it will encourage others to hold on to their faith, even when their own trials seem insurmountable. The faith you build in the fire will not only prepare you for your own breakthrough, but will also inspire a generation to trust in God's timing and His provision. In the midst of the tests and trials, it's important to keep your eyes on the promise, not the problem. When you focus on the problem, it becomes magnified and your faith begins to shrink. But when you focus on the promise, when you set your heart on the truth that God is for you and not against you, your faith grows. The promises of God are yes and amen, and they will not fail. His word is true, and He will bring to pass everything He has spoken over your life. Even when it feels like nothing is happening, even when the journey seems long and difficult, trust that He is working in ways that you cannot see. His timing is perfect, and His plans for you are far greater than your own. The testing of your faith is not just about what you are going through now, but about what is coming next. God is preparing you for the next level, for the next season of your life, and for the greater purpose He has ordained for you. There are people waiting for you to step into your destiny, and there are opportunities waiting for you to seize. But before you can walk into those things, you must first be prepared. You must first be refined. You must first be made ready to carry the weight of the blessing that is coming your way. And so when you face the testing of your faith, don't see it as a setback. Don't see it as a sign that God has abandoned you or forgotten you. See it as an invitation to grow, to become more of the person you were always meant to be. The testing is not the end of the story. It is a pivotal moment in your journey, one that will propel you forward into the fullness of God's plan for your life. Every test you face is a step toward your breakthrough. Every trial is a lesson in trust, in perseverance, and in surrender. And as you grow through these tests, you will find that your faith becomes unshakable, your confidence in God becomes unmovable, and your ability to stand firm in His promises becomes unyielding. When God tests your faith, He is preparing you to take hold of the future He has promised you. Trust the process, trust His timing, and trust that He is preparing you for something far greater than you can even imagine. God has not forgotten you. He sees your pain, your struggle, and your heart's deepest desires. He is not blind to your tears, nor is He deaf to your cries. He hears you, and He is moving on your behalf. The testing of your faith is not a sign that you are far from His love. It is a sign that He is preparing you for something beautiful. Trust in the process, hold fast to your faith, and know that God is making you ready for the greatness that is to come. The best is yet to be revealed. Every trial, every difficulty, and every obstacle you face serves a divine purpose. You are not being tested to break you, but to build you. Each test is a step closer to the destiny God has placed before you. And though the path may feel uncertain and the road may seem long, trust that every single experience is preparing you for what lies ahead. There's a certain divine wisdom in the way God works, a divine logic that doesn't always align with our human understanding. In the natural world, we often equate pain with punishment, struggle with failure, and hardship with something we need to avoid at all costs. But in God's kingdom, it's different. The way He operates is counterintuitive. The very things we try to avoid are often the tools He uses to refine us. The pressure you feel, the difficulty you face, and the discomfort in your soul are all shaping you. They are removing the parts of you that cannot carry the weight of what is coming. The fire doesn't destroy the gold, it purifies it. The struggle doesn't crush your spirit, it strengthens it. What you might perceive as a setback is actually a setup for what's to come. When God tests your faith, He is stretching you, pulling you into a place of growth that you wouldn't reach without the challenges. Think of it as a muscle. If you want your muscles to grow stronger, you must first strain them. You must challenge them, push them beyond their normal limits, and only then do they grow. Similarly, your faith must be stretched. It must be tested, and it's in the stretching, in the breaking, that you are made whole. But remember, the stretching is temporary. The breakthrough, the growth, the transformation, these are permanent. Each test, no matter how daunting, is simply an opportunity to step into a higher level of faith, a deeper trust in God's plans for your life. You cannot see it now, but when you are on the other side of this test, you will look back and realize that everything you went through was necessary to bring you to the place where you are meant to be. It's important to remember that the trials you face are not a reflection of God's disfavor. They are a part of His plan to bring you closer to the fullness of His purpose for your life. You may not feel it now, but you are being shaped and molded in the fire of life. Your faith is being refined, made pure, and prepared to withstand the greatness that is about to unfold. When you find yourself in the midst of a storm, don't lose heart. Know that the storm is not there to destroy you, it is there to help you grow. The winds may be howling, the rain may be pouring down, and you may feel as though you're sinking beneath the waves, but in reality, the storm is part of your transformation. It's helping you learn to stand firm, to trust in the God who controls the wind and the waves, and to find peace in the midst of chaos. You are not walking this journey alone. Though the road may seem long and the way unclear, God is with you every step of the way. He has not left you to face these trials on your own. He is the one who is holding your hand, guiding your steps, and leading you through every difficulty. When you feel weak, He will be your strength. When you feel lost, He will be your compass. When you feel weary, He will be your rest. Trust that God's presence is with you, even in the hardest of moments. In fact, it's often in the darkest moments of our lives that God's presence becomes the most real. When everything else seems uncertain, when we've tried all we can and still see no way forward, that's when God steps in. That's when He shows us that He has been with us all along, that He's been preparing us, strengthening us, and equipping us for the very moment we find ourselves in. And when the breakthrough finally comes, when you step into the fullness of your purpose, you look back and see how every test, every challenge, and every difficulty was part of God's perfect plan. You see, the testing of your faith is not just about you, it's about the impact you will have on others. Your journey, your perseverance, and your eventual victory will serve as a testimony to those around you. It will show them that God is faithful, that His promises are true, and that no matter how dark the night may seem, joy comes in the morning. You are being shaped not just for your own benefit, but for the benefit of others. Your faith is a light that will shine brightly for others to see. Your victory will be a beacon of hope to those who are walking through their own struggles. And when you stand firm in your faith, when you trust God through the hard times, you will find that your faith becomes unshakable. You will develop a resilience that nothing can break. No matter how many storms come, no matter how many obstacles rise up, you will know that you are standing on a firm foundation. Your faith will be like a tree planted by the water, unmoved by the winds and the storms of life. The tests may be hard, but the reward is worth it. The struggle may be long, but the victory is sweeter. And when you finally see the manifestation of all that God has promised you, you will understand why the test was necessary. You will see that every step, every struggle, every moment of doubt was a part of God's greater plan for your life. It's important to remember that God is always with you, even when it feels like He's silent. He is working behind the scenes, orchestrating everything in your favor. And even when the way seems unclear, know that He has a purpose for everything. Trust in His plan. Trust in His timing. Trust that He's working all things together for your good. The greater the test, the greater the blessing, the greater the trial, the greater the breakthrough. Every time you rise above the difficulties, every time you stand firm in your faith, you are becoming more and more aligned with God's divine purpose for your life. You are being prepared for something bigger, something greater than you could ever imagine. And when the time comes, when the door opens and when the promise is fulfilled, you will look back and see how perfectly everything fits together. God does not waste a single moment of your life. Every hardship, every trial, every test is an opportunity for you to grow, to become more like Him, and to step into the greatness that He has in store for you. Your faith is being tested now, not because God wants to see you fail, but because He is preparing you for the success, the victory, and the breakthrough that is ahead. So hold on and don't let go. Trust in the process. Know that every test is making you stronger, making you more prepared, and making you more equipped to handle the blessings that are coming your way. You are being prepared for something bigger, something greater, something beyond your wildest dreams. And when you look back, you will realize that every step, every struggle, every moment of faith was worth it. As you stand in the midst of your journey, remember that every trial, every test, and every challenge is not a sign of defeat, but a divine preparation for the greatness ahead. Trust that God is molding you, shaping you, and strengthening you for something far beyond what you can see. His ways are not always clear in the moment, but His plan is always perfect, and His love for you is unwavering. Embrace the tests that come your way, knowing that they are stepping stones to the fulfillment of your purpose. Be patient in the process, knowing that every moment is leading you closer to the manifestation of your divine destiny. And when you finally reach the place He has prepared for you, you will look back in awe and gratitude for the challenges that made you who you are. Keep your faith strong, trust in God's timing, and never forget that He is preparing you for something bigger, something greater. You are being shaped for the extraordinary, and the best is yet to come. Stay faithful, stay strong, and know that God is with you every step of the way.
Many of you sit here tonight feeling that life has somehow passed you by, that opportunities have been missed, that you are running behind schedule in the grand scheme of things. You look at others who seem to have achieved their desires sooner, who manifested their dreams with apparent ease. And you wonder, why not me? Why have I been delayed? I am here to tell you with absolute conviction that you have not been delayed at all. What you have interpreted as delay has actually been divine preparation. In the grand symphony of creation, there is no such thing as delay. There is only perfect timing. And this perfect timing is orchestrated not by some external deity sitting on a distant throne, but by the God that dwells within you, your own wonderful human imagination. For God and your imagination are one and the same. Let us begin by understanding a fundamental truth. The world that you perceive outside of yourself is nothing more than a reflection, a shadow, an echo of your own consciousness. It is not causative, it is an effect. The only creative power in this universe is consciousness, is imagination. All that you behold, said William Blake, though it appears without, it is within, in your imagination, of which this world of mortality is but a shadow. So when you look at your life and see what appears to be delay, what you are truly seeing is the outpicturing of your own consciousness in its process of preparation. God, your own wonderful human imagination, has been preparing you for this very moment, this precise juncture in time when you are ready to receive and express your desires in their fullest form. Consider the story of Joseph in the Bible, a story not of literal history, but of psychological truth. Joseph was given dreams of greatness, visions of his brothers bowing before him. Yet what followed these dreams? Years of apparent setback and delay. He was thrown into a pit by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused and imprisoned. From the limited perspective of human reasoning, these experiences would appear to be terrible delays and detours. But from the higher perspective of divine wisdom, they were necessary preparations. Each seeming setback was actually a setup for Joseph's ultimate triumph. His time in Potiphar's house taught him management. His time in prison taught him discernment. And when the moment finally came for him to interpret Pharaoh's dream and rise to a position of power, He was prepared in ways he could never have been without those experiences that seemed on the surface to be delays. My dear friends, I say to you now, your life has followed the same pattern. What you have interpreted as delay has actually been divine preparation. The God within you has been orchestrating every experience, every seeming setback, every apparent detour to prepare you for this very moment. Now let us explore the true nature of time. In our physical world, we perceive time as linear, a straight line stretching from past to present to future. But in the realm of imagination, in the realm of God, time is not linear at all. All moments exist simultaneously in what we might call the eternal now. When you enter the state of consciousness that corresponds to your desire fulfilled, you are not working against time or trying to accelerate a process that is taking too long. Rather, you are simply selecting from infinite possibilities the version of reality in which your desire is already fulfilled. You are not waiting for something to happen in time. You are choosing which completed reality to experience. This understanding transforms your relationship with what you have perceived as delay. If all possible states exist now, and your task is simply to occupy the state of your desire fulfilled, then the concept of delay becomes meaningless. There is only the state you are currently occupying in consciousness and the state you wish to occupy. The movement between these states is not governed by time, but by your ability to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. I want to share with you a principle that has transformed countless lives, including my own. It is the principle of revision. Revision is the art of reinterpreting your past from the vantage point of your present understanding. And tonight, I invite you to revise your entire understanding of what you have called delay in your life. Take all those experiences that seem to hold you back, that appeared to be obstacles in your path, that you interpreted as signs that you were somehow running behind schedule in life, and revise them. See them now, not as delays, but as essential preparations. See God, your own wonderful human imagination, carefully orchestrating each experience to prepare you for this moment. The job you didn't get, it wasn't a delay, it was preparation for a better position that required you to develop specific skills first. The relationship that didn't work out, it wasn't a delay, it was preparation for a deeper connection that needed you to learn important lessons about yourself. The project that failed, it wasn't a delay, it was preparation for success that required you to refine your approach. In the first chapter of Ecclesiastes, we read, "That which has been is what will be. That which is done is what will be done. And there is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which it may be said, see, this is new? It has already been in ancient times before us." This scripture reveals the eternal nature of all experience. Your desire, the state you wish to occupy, already exists. It is not something that must be created anew or that must unfold over time. It already is. Your task is not to create it, but to enter into it through the doorway of assumption. Let me tell you about a friend of mine who came to me feeling that life had passed him by. He was in his 50s and had not achieved the financial success he had always dreamed of. He felt delayed, left behind, as he watched others achieve what seemed to elude him. I shared with him this principle we're discussing tonight, that what appears as delay is actually divine preparation. I asked him to take a few moments each night before sleep to revise his understanding of his past, to see each seeming failure not as delay, but as preparation, to recognize that God, his own wonderful human imagination, had been preparing him through each experience for the perfect expression of his desire. After 3 weeks of this practice, he called me, excitement evident in his voice. He had received an opportunity that perfectly combined all the skills he had developed through his various failed ventures over the years. An opportunity that would have been impossible for him to fulfill had he not had exactly the life experiences he had. What he had seen as delay was revealed to be perfect preparation. My dear friends, this is the truth of your life as well. The divine wisdom within you has been orchestrating your path with perfect precision. There has been no delay. There has only been preparation. Now let us discuss how you can apply this understanding practically in your daily life. The first step is to completely revise your concept of time. Release the idea that you are working against the clock, that opportunities have passed you by, that you must hurry to catch up with some imagined schedule. Instead, recognize that the only time that matters is the eternal now of imagination. In this eternal now, your task is simply to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, to live from the state of consciousness that corresponds to your desire already achieved, to be in imagination what you wish to be in what you call reality. The second step is to practice what I call mental dieting. Just as you would carefully monitor what foods you put into your physical body, if you are preparing for peak physical performance, so too must you monitor what thoughts you allow into your mental body as you prepare for peak manifestation. From this moment forward, refuse to entertain any thought that contradicts the truth we have discussed tonight. When the suggestion arises that you have been delayed, recognize it as a false interpretation and mentally revise it. Replace it with the truth. I have not been delayed. God has been preparing me for this moment. This mental diet is crucial because what you feed grows and what you starve disappears. Feed the concept of divine preparation and it will grow in your consciousness. Starve the concept of delay and it will fade away. The third step is to practice what I call living from the end. This means that you must mentally and emotionally occupy the state of your desire fulfilled now in your imagination. Feel the reality of it. Experience the joy, the gratitude, the satisfaction of having already achieved or received what you desire. When you live from the end in this way, you are not trying to manipulate external events to conform to your wishes. Rather, you are shifting your consciousness to the state that corresponds to those wishes already fulfilled. And since the external world is simply a reflection of your consciousness, it must, by spiritual law, reconfigure itself to match the state you are occupying. Let me illustrate this with a simple example. Imagine that you desire promotion at work. The conventional approach would be to work harder, to impress your superiors, to strategize and plan how to achieve this promotion over time. And in that approach, there would always be the possibility of delay, of things not happening as quickly as you wish. But the approach I am suggesting is entirely different. Instead of focusing on the process of getting from where you are to where you want to be, you simply occupy in consciousness the state of already having received the promotion. You feel the satisfaction of it. You mentally hear colleagues congratulating you. You imagine the increased responsibility and compensation as if they are already yours. When you do this, you are not working against time or trying to accelerate a process. You are simply selecting from infinite possibilities the version of reality in which your promotion has already occurred. And as you consistently occupy this state in consciousness, the outer world must reshape itself to match your inner assumption. This approach transcends the entire concept of delay. There is no delay in selecting which state of consciousness to occupy. It is an instantaneous choice. The only factor that determines how quickly your outer world reflects its choice is the consistency and intensity with which you occupy the chosen state. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, I've been trying to manifest my desires for years. If there's no such thing as delay, why haven't they appeared in my physical reality? This is a fair question, and it brings us to a deeper understanding of the manifestation process. The key lies in the word trying. When you are trying to manifest something, you are operating from a state of not having it. You are affirming through your very effort that what you desire is absent and must be attained. This state of consciousness, the state of absence and effort, is what manifests in your reality, not the thing you are trying to attain. True manifestation occurs not through effort but through assumption. You must not try to make your desire happen. You must assume that it already has happened. This subtle but crucial difference is what separates those who manifest their desires quickly from those who experience what appears to. Let us examine this principle through the lens of Scripture. In Mark 11:24, Jesus, who I understand not as a historical figure, but as a symbol of the divine imagination within each of us, says, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Note the tense of the verbs here. It does not say believe that you will receive it. It says believe that you have received it. This is the key to transcending the illusion of delay. You must believe in the present perfect tense that what you desire has already been given to you. And from that state of consciousness, the outer manifestation must follow. My dear friends, in this eternal moment, God, your own wonderful human imagination, is calling you to a higher understanding. An understanding that transcends the limited perspective that interprets life's journey in terms of delay and disappointment. You have not been delayed. Every moment of your life has been precisely orchestrated to prepare you for this moment. The moment you are ready to fully embrace and express your desires in their perfect form. The moment when your consciousness has matured to the point where it can hold and sustain the state that corresponds to your wish fulfilled. I want to share with you now a technique that will help you integrate this understanding at a deep level. It is a technique I call the retrospective method. Each night before you sleep, I want you to mentally review your day, but from a special vantage point. I want you to imagine that you are looking back on this day from the perspective of having already achieved your desire. For example, if your desire is for financial abundance, you would look back on today as if you were already financially abundant. You might think, how wonderful that on that day, even though I had not yet seen the full manifestation of my wealth, God was preparing me. That book one read, that person I met, that idea that came to me, all of it was divine preparation for the abundance I now enjoy. This retrospective view accomplishes two powerful things. First, it reframes your present experiences as meaningful preparation rather than frustrating delay. Second, it places you in consciousness, in the state of your desire fulfilled, looking back on your journey rather than looking forward with uncertainty. Practice this technique consistently, and you will find that your entire relationship with time and manifestation begins to transform. The sense of being delayed or behind schedule will dissolve, replaced by a profound appreciation for the perfect unfolding of your life's journey. Now let us address another aspect of this principle, the role of divine timing. While it is true that in the realm of imagination all states exist simultaneously, the expression of these states in our three-dimensional reality does involve what appears to be time. This is not because manifestation itself takes time, but because our consciousness requires time to fully adjust to and stabilize in a new state. Think of it this way. If you have spent years occupying a state of consciousness characterized by limitation, lack, or delay, your mental muscles have been conditioned to maintain that state. When you decide to shift to a state of abundance, fulfillment, and divine timing, those mental muscles need to be reconditioned. And this reconditioning process appears, from our human perspective, to take time. But here's the crucial distinction. This is not delay. This is development. Just as a seed planted in the ground is not delayed in becoming a tree, it is developing according to divine law. So too is your manifestation developing according to the law of your consciousness. The oak tree already exists within the acorn, not as a miniature tree, but as a pattern of development, a blueprint of becoming. Similarly, the fulfillment of your desire already exists within your consciousness, not as a miniature version of what will one day be, but as a pattern of development that is unfolding with perfect precision. When you understand this, you can release all anxiety, all frustration, all sense of being delayed. You can rest in the absolute assurance that what appears as time passing is actually the perfect unfoldment of your manifestation according to divine law. In the second chapter of Habakkuk we read, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." This scripture contains a seeming contradiction. It says both though it tarry and it will not tarry. But the contradiction dissolves when you understand the principle we're discussing. From the limited human perspective focused on external events, the manifestation may appear to tarry or delay. But from the higher perspective of divine law, it is not delaying at all. It is unfolding with perfect precision, neither too soon nor too late. My dear friends, I want to share with you now a personal experience that illustrates this principle. Years ago, I desired to share these teachings with a wider audience. I imagined myself speaking to large groups, writing books that would touch many lives, having a profound impact on how I understood the power of imagination. But for a time, nothing seemed to happen externally. I continued to study, to practice, to refine my understanding. From a limited perspective, I might have interpreted this as delay. But inwardly, I knew better. I knew that God, my own wonderful human imagination, was preparing me for the perfect expression of this desire. I continued to live from the end, to occupy in consciousness the state of being a successful teacher and author. I mentally heard the congratulations of friends, felt the satisfaction of helping others, experienced the joy of sharing these principles widely. And then, at what I now recognize as the perfect moment, when my consciousness had fully matured into the state I desired, opportunities to speak arose. The books began to flow through me. The impact I had imagined began to materialize in the lives of those I taught. What might have been interpreted as delay was revealed to be divine preparation. Every moment of study, every practice session, every refinement of understanding was necessary for the full and perfect expression of my desire. And so it is with you, my dear friends. What you have interpreted as delay in your life has actually been divine preparation. God, your own wonderful human imagination, has been orchestrating every experience to prepare you for this very moment. This moment now is when you are ready to fully receive and express your desire. This moment now is the appointed time for your vision to speak and not lie. This moment now is the culmination of all that has come before and the beginning of all that will follow. As we begin to conclude our discussion tonight, I want to emphasize a crucial point. The principle we've explored is not merely a philosophical concept to be intellectually understood. It is a living truth to be embodied and expressed in your daily experience. From this moment forward, I invite you to completely abandon the concept of delay in your life. Remove it from your vocabulary, both spoken and unspoken. When the suggestion arises that you have been delayed or are behind schedule, recognize it. And as a misinterpretation of divine preparation, replace that misinterpretation with the truth: I have not been delayed. God has been preparing me for this moment. Feel the shift in your emotional state as you embrace this understanding. Feel the release of frustration and anxiety. Feel the influx of peace and assurance. This shift in consciousness is not merely a psychological technique for feeling better about your circumstances. It is a fundamental realignment with the truth of your being that will transform how your life unfolds from this moment forward. When you truly understand that there is no delay, only divine preparation, you step out of the limited perspective of human reasoning and into the unlimited perspective of divine wisdom. From this perspective, everything in your life, every experience, every encounter, every seeming setback is viewed as a necessary and perfect part of your journey. This understanding does not lead to passive acceptance of undesired circumstances. On the contrary, it empowers you to actively participate in the creative process by consciously choosing which state to occupy in imagination. But it does release you from the frustration and anxiety that come from fighting against what appears to be delay. In the final analysis, time itself is a construct of consciousness. Einstein's theory of relativity has shown that time is not an absolute, but is relative to the observer. What quantum physics has discovered scientifically, mystics and spiritual teachers have known intuitively for centuries. Time is fluid, malleable, responsive to consciousness. Your experience of time, whether it seems to drag with delay or flow with divine precision, is determined by the state of consciousness you occupy. When you live in the state of your desire fulfilled, time becomes your servant rather than your master. The manifestation of your desire occurs not according to some external timetable, but according to the law of your consciousness. My dear friends, as we conclude our discussion tonight, I want to leave you with a practical application of everything we've explored. Tomorrow, as you go about your day, I want you to consciously interpret every experience, particularly those that might previously have seemed like obstacles or delays, as divine preparation. The traffic jam that makes you late for a meeting, divine preparation, perhaps saving you from an accident further down the road, or aligning you with the person you need to meet who would not have been there at your originally scheduled arrival time. The project that takes longer than expected to complete, divine preparation, allowing for the refinement and perfection that make it far more impactful than it would have been in its hastier form. The opportunity that goes to someone else instead of you. Divine preparation, freeing you for a better opportunity that requires you to be available at precisely the moment it appears. As you practice this consciousness throughout your day, you will find that your entire relationship with time begins to transform. The sense of being rushed, of running behind, of missing out, all of these fall away, replaced by a profound trust in the perfect unfolding of your life according to divine law. And in this transformed relationship with time, you will discover a new freedom. Freedom from the anxiety of deadlines, the pressure of expectations, the frustration of perceived delays. Freedom to fully inhabit each moment as the perfect expression of divine wisdom. This freedom is your birthright. It is the natural state of a consciousness aligned with truth. And it is available to you now in this eternal moment as you embrace the understanding that you have not been delayed. God has been preparing you for this moment. My dear, wonderful friends, I have shared with you tonight a truth that has the power to transform your entire experience of life. A truth that liberates you from the frustration of perceived delay and opens you to the peace of divine preparation. You have not been delayed. God, your own wonderful human imagination, has been preparing you with infinite wisdom and perfect precision for this very moment. Every experience, every encounter, every seeming setback has been an essential thread in the tapestry of your becoming. As you leave here tonight and return to your daily lives, carry this truth with you. Let it inform how you interpret your experiences. Let it guide how you perceive your past and approach your future. Let it transform your relationship with time itself. And know this with absolute certainty. The desire that burns within you, that vision of fulfillment and achievement and joy, has not been delayed. It has been in preparation. And now, at this perfect moment, it is ready to express itself through you in its fullest and most beautiful form. For you are God's perfect creation, and your life unfolds according to divine law. There is no delay in God's universe, only perfect timing, perfect wisdom, perfect love. Go now in peace, embracing the truth that you have not been delayed. God has been preparing you for this moment. And in this moment, all things are possible. Thank you, and good night. Let us begin with the fundamental law that governs all manifestation, the law of assumption. This law states simply that your outer world reflects your inner assumptions. What you believe to be true of yourself and your world must be made manifest in your experience. This is not a theory or a pleasant suggestion. It is an immutable law. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. These words from Proverbs contain the entire secret of successful living. Your consciousness, your concept of self, determines the world in which you live. The conditions, circumstances, and events of your life are but the outpicturing of your immanent beliefs. Many of you understand this intellectually, yet you continue to witness unwanted circumstances in your lives. Why is this so? It is because understanding alone is not enough. You must apply the law, and the application begins with detachment. The nature of detachment. What do I mean by detachment? Detachment is not indifference. It is not a cold withdrawal from life or a resignation to fate. Detachment, in its spiritual sense, is the recognition that you are not bound to your current circumstances, that you are not defined by your present conditions, and that you are free to assume a new state of consciousness regardless of appearances. Detachment means releasing your grip on the how and the when of your manifestation. It means surrendering the need to control the process by which your desire will be realized. This surrender is not weakness. It is the highest form of spiritual strength. In the Bible we read, "Be still and know that I am God." This stillness is detachment. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing that the creative power within you, your own wonderful human imagination, is God, and that this power, once directed consciously, will externalize your assumptions in ways that your rational mind cannot conceive. So many of you struggle because you cannot see the bridge of incidents that will lead to your desire. You worry and fret over the means, desperately seeking to manipulate external conditions. This very anxiety reveals your attachment to appearances, your bondage to what is. And as long as you remain bound to what is, you cannot experience what could be. The impediment of attachment. Attachment to outcomes, to specific means, to time frames, these are the chains that bind your creative power. When you insist that your desire must manifest in a particular way, you limit the infinite intelligence of God within you. You say, in effect, I know better than the divine wisdom how my good should come to me. Think of the farmer who plants a seed and then digs it up each day to see if it is growing. Such impatience and lack of faith in the natural process will prevent any harvest. Similarly, when you plant the seed of desire in your consciousness and then constantly unearth it through doubt, worry, and attachment to results, you interrupt the divine process of manifestation. I tell you truly, the entire universe conspires to fulfill your demanded assumptions. But this fulfillment comes through a bridge of incidents that your rational mind cannot and need not construct. Your work is not to build the bridge. Your work is to assume the end, the fulfillment, and to live in that assumption while the bridge builds itself. The process of letting go. Now, let us discuss the practical process of letting go. How does one detach from circumstances while remaining committed to a desire? The secret lies in what I call living in the end. To let go is to transfer your attention from the problem to the solution, from the lack to the fulfillment. It is to dwell mentally in the state of wish fulfilled, regardless of appearances. This dwelling is not a momentary visualization, but a sustained assumption. When you truly let go, you no longer feel the need to check on the status of your manifestation. You no longer feel anxiety about when or how it will appear. You rest in the comfortable certainty that what you have assumed in consciousness must objectify itself in your world. Consider the words of Scripture: whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. This is the essence of letting go. You pray, assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you believe, live from that state as if it were already externalized, and then it manifests, becomes objectifying your world. The great obstacle to successful manifestation is the tendency to constantly check whether your desire has manifested. This checking is evidence of doubt, and doubt is a confession of attachment to current reality. To overcome this tendency, you must discipline your imagination to dwell exclusively in the end, in the state of fulfillment. The mental diet. This discipline requires what I call a mental diet. Just as you would carefully monitor what food you put into your physical body if you wish to maintain health, so must you monitor what thoughts you entertain in your mental body if you wish to manifest your desires. The mental diet consists of systematically rejecting any thought that contradicts your assumption of fulfillment. When doubts arise, and they will, you do not fight them or resist them, for what you resist persists. Instead, you simply withdraw your attention from the doubt and place it back on the assumption of fulfillment. This practice requires vigilance. The world is filled with evidence that will seem to contradict your assumption. Friends and family may tell you that your desire is impossible. Circumstances may appear to move in the opposite direction of your wish. In these moments, you must maintain your mental diet most rigorously. Remember, the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him. The natural man is your senses, your rational mind that accepts current reality as final. The Spirit of God is your imagination, which can conceive of realities that transcend current appearances. You must choose which you will serve, focusing on your own path. Now we come to the third aspect of our discussion, focusing on your own path. This is perhaps the most challenging aspect of manifestation, for the world is filled with distractions, with comparisons, with the opinions and judgments of others. To focus on your own path is to recognize that your journey is unique. Your desires, your timing, your bridge of incidents cannot be compared to anyone else's. The moment you begin to compare your progress with others, you have strayed from your path. There's a wonderful passage in the Gospel of John. After Peter had received instructions from the risen Christ, he turned and saw John following them. Peter asked Jesus, Lord, what about him? Jesus replied, if I want him to remain alive until I return, what is that to you? You follow me. This is one of the most direct instructions concerning the need to focus on your own path. What is that to you? You follow me. These words apply to each of us. The path of another, their success, their timing, their method is irrelevant to your journey. Your task is to follow the Christ within you, the God self that speaks through your desires and guides you through your imagination. When you focus on others, comparing your progress, seeking their approval, fearing their judgment, you divert precious creative energy away from your manifestation. Every ounce of attention given to the opinion of others is an ounce taken from the assumption of your wish fulfilled. The correlation between detachment, letting go, and focus. These three principles, detachment, letting go, and focusing on your own path, are not separate techniques, but different aspects of the same spiritual practice. Each reinforces and enables the others. When you truly detach from current circumstances, you naturally let go of anxiety about results. When you let go of anxiety about results, you find it easier to focus on your own path without comparing yourself to others. And when you focus on your own path without comparison, you strengthen your detachment from external validation. This virtuous cycle creates a state of consciousness that is optimally receptive to manifestation. It clears away the obstacles that have prevented the externalization of your desires. It aligns your creative power with your conscious intentions. The true nature of reality. To fully embrace these principles, you must understand the true nature of reality. The world you experience is not an objective, independent reality separate from your consciousness. It is the outpicturing of your assumptions, the projection of your beliefs. The universe is mental, declares the Hermetic principle. All that you experience is created first in consciousness and then projected outward as experience. This means that to change your world, you need not manipulate external conditions. You need only change your assumptions. This is the great liberation. You are not a victim of circumstances, but the creator of them. You are not subject to the whims of fate, but the author of your destiny. The power to transform your life lies not in coincidence, but in controlling your assumptions about yourself and your world. The practice of revision. Now I wish to share with you a powerful technique for detachment and letting go, the practice of revision. Revision is the art of reimagining past events in a way that aligns with your desired self-concept and life experience. At the end of each day, before you sleep, review the events that were unsatisfactory or that contradicted your desired state. In your imagination, revise these events. See them playing out differently in a way that aligns with your wish fulfilled. If someone was unkind to you, imagine them being courteous and respectful. If you failed at a task, imagine yourself succeeding brilliantly. If you received bad news, imagine receiving good news instead. This practice is not mere wishful thinking or denial of reality. It is the conscious application of the creative power of your imagination to rewrite the impressions in your subconscious mind. Since your subconscious accepts as true whatever you impress upon it, revision allows you to replace limiting impressions with empowering ones. Through consistent revision, you gradually detach from the limiting story of your past and create a new foundation for your future. You let go of grievances, disappointments, and failures, replacing them with experiences that support your new self-concept. The inner conversation. Another powerful practice for detachment and focusing on your path is to monitor and revise your inner conversation. Your inner conversation, the things you say to yourself, and the imaginary conversations you have with others, reveals and reinforces your true assumptions. Most people's inner conversations are filled with worries, justifications, rehearsals of grievances, and defenses against imagined criticisms. These mental dialogues keep them bound to unwanted circumstances and diverted from their true path. To transform your life, transform your inner conversation. Imagine hearing the congratulations of friends on your success. Imagine discussing your achievement as a fait accompli. Imagine the conversations that would follow naturally if your desire were already fulfilled. As you discipline your inner conversation, you will find that detachment becomes easier. You will naturally let go of anxiety about results because your mental world is already filled with the evidence of fulfillment. You will focus more easily on your own path because your inner dialogue affirms your unique journey rather than comparing it to others. The Sabbath rest. There comes a point in the manifestation process where all the work is done. You have planted the seed of assumption. You have nourished it with attention. You have protected it through mental diet. And now it must grow of its own accord. This is what I call the Sabbath rest. In the Bible, God created for 6 days and rested on the seventh, declaring his work complete and good. This is a pattern for all creation, including the creation of your desires in manifestation. There comes a time to rest, to cease all effort, to simply know that it is done. This Sabbath state is the highest form of detachment. It is the absolute confidence that your creative work is complete in consciousness and must now objectify itself in experience. In this state, there is no anxiety, no checking, no effort to make it happen. There is only the quiet knowing that what has been planted must come to harvest. Many miss their manifestations because they cannot enter this Sabbath rest. They continue to work, to effort to manipulate conditions long after the creative act is complete. This continued effort implies doubt, and doubt negates the assumption of fulfillment. Learn to recognize when your work is done in consciousness. Learn to say, as the Christ within you says, it is finished. Then rest in that knowing, detached from appearances, letting go of control, focus solely on the truth established in your imagination. The testing of faith, the period between the planting of your assumption and its visible manifestation, is a testing of faith. During this interval, appearances may contradict your assumption. Doubts may arise. Others may question your certainty. These tests are not obstacles but opportunities to strengthen your new consciousness. Each time you choose your assumption over appearances, you deepen your faith. Each time you detach from discouraging circumstances, you strengthen your creative power. Each time you let go of anxiety about results, you accelerate the manifestation process. Remember the words of Scripture, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Your faith, your persistent assumption that it is a means to acquire your desire. It is the substance of the desire itself, already present in consciousness, awaiting externalization. When doubts arise, do not fight them or fear them. Simply recognize them as remnants of your old consciousness, the consciousness you are transcending through your new assumption. Then gently but firmly return to your assumption, knowing that what you are conscious of being, you must become. The divine indifference. There is a state of consciousness that I call divine indifference. This is not apathy or lack of interest in your desires. It is the serene knowing that your assumption, once firmly established in consciousness, must manifest regardless of appearances or time frames. Divine indifference allows you to pursue your daily activities without anxiety, without constantly checking for evidence, without the inner tension that comes from attachment to outcomes. It is the ability to live contentedly in the present moment while knowing that your future is secure in your assumption. This state might be described as earnest expectancy without anxiety. You are expectant because you know the law must fulfill your assumption. You are without anxiety because you know the law must fulfill your assumption. The certainty removes the need for concern. When you achieve this divine indifference, you will find that manifestations come more easily and more frequently. The very detachment accelerates the process, for it removes the resistance caused by doubt, worry, and overattention. The naturalness of your desire. Another key to successful detachment is to recognize the naturalness of your desire. Your desires are not random whims or egoic fantasies. They are the voice of God within you, calling you to express more of your divine nature, to experience more of the abundance that is your birthright. When you see your desires in this light, detachment becomes easier. You no longer feel that you are grasping for something beyond your desert or fighting against the order of things. You recognize that the fulfillment of your desire is as natural as the blooming of a flower or the rising of the sun. This recognition eliminates the sense of struggle that accompanies so many people's manifestation efforts. You need not fight for your good. You need only align your consciousness with it through assumption. You need not force your desire into being. You need only provide the conditions in consciousness for its natural unfoldment. As Jesus said, consider the lilies of the field, how they grow, they toil not, neither do they spin. The lily does not strain to become a lily. It simply unfolds according to its nature. Similarly, your desires unfold naturally when you align your consciousness with their fulfillment. The state akin to sleep. There is a particular state of consciousness that facilitates detachment and the impregnation of your subconscious with new assumptions. I call this the state akin to sleep, a drowsy, receptive state where the rational mind is temporarily quieted and the subconscious is especially receptive to suggestion. In this state, which you can enter just before sleep, upon awakening, or through deliberate relaxation during the day, your imagination has direct access to the subconscious. The images and feelings you entertain in this state are accepted without the interference of the rational mind's doubts and objections. Use this state to impress your desire upon the subconscious. Feel yourself into the state of wish fulfilled. Experience in imagination the joy and gratitude of having what you desire. Then allow yourself to drift into sleep or to return to normal consciousness, knowing that the seed has been planted. This practice, performed consistently, will gradually transform your dominant assumptions about yourself and your world. As your assumptions change, your experience must change to match them. This is the law, the freedom of consciousness. The ultimate secret of detachment is the recognition that you are pure consciousness. You are not your body, your circumstances, your history, or your possessions. You are the awareness in which all these things appear. This recognition is liberation. When you know yourself as consciousness rather than content, you can change the content at will. You are no longer bound to any particular set of circumstances because you recognize that circumstances are projections of your assumptions, not independent realities. From this perspective, detachment is not something you do, it is the recognition of what you are. You are naturally detached from all conditions because you are the consciousness in which conditions appear, not the conditions themselves. This is the meaning of Jesus' statement, be in the world, but not of the world. To be in the world is to participate in the experiences of human life. To be not of the world is to recognize that you transcend these experiences, that you are the consciousness that witnesses and creates them. The practice of I am. To strengthen this recognition of your true nature, practice what I call the I am meditation. Set aside time each day to sit quietly and focus on the feeling of pure existence, the feeling of I am. Before you identify with any particular attribute or condition, before you say I am rich or I am poor, I am successful or I am failing, there is the pure awareness of being. This awareness is your true self, your God self. As you rest in this awareness, you naturally detach from limiting conditions. You recognize that all descriptors that follow I am are assumptions that you are free to change. You are not inherently any particular condition. You are the consciousness that assumes conditions. From this state of pure awareness, you can then consciously choose the assumptions that will shape your experience. You can say with full conviction, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am fulfilled, knowing that these statements define your consciousness and therefore must define your experience. The transformation of identity. Manifestation at its core is not about acquiring things or changing circumstances. It is about transforming your identity, your concept of self. When your self-concept changes, your world must change to reflect it. Most people try to change their lives by manipulating external conditions while maintaining the same self-concept. This is why their efforts so often fail. The external always conforms to the internal. Your circumstances are the shadow cast by your concept of self. To create lasting change, you must adopt a new identity. You must see yourself as the person who already has what you desire, who already is what you wish to be. This identity shift is the essence of assumption. When you truly assume a new identity, detachment from old conditions happens naturally. You no longer worry about how or when your desire will manifest, because in consciousness, from the perspective of your new identity, it has already manifested. You are simply waiting for the outer to catch up with the inner. The persistence of assumption. The final key to successful manifestation is persistence in your assumption. This does not mean effortful striving or constant affirmation. It means returning to your assumption whenever you become aware that your thoughts have strayed from it. Your old beliefs and assumptions have momentum. They have been reinforced over years or decades of thinking, and they will not be replaced by a single session of imagining. You must persist in your new assumption until it becomes as natural and habitual as your old assumption once was. This persistence is not a burden, but a practice. Like learning any new skill, it requires attention at first, but eventually becomes second nature. There will come a time when your new assumption is so deeply established that you no longer need to consciously maintain it. It will have become your dominant belief, your natural way of being. Until that time, gently but firmly return to your assumption whenever you notice that your thoughts or feelings contradict it. Do not chastise yourself for lapses. Simply correct your course. The more consistently you maintain your assumption, the sooner it will manifest in experience. Conclusion: the promise fulfilled. My dear friends, I have shared with you tonight the great secret of manifestation: detachment, letting go, and focusing on your own path. This secret is not new. It has been taught by spiritual masters throughout the ages in various forms and languages. Jesus taught it when he said, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Buddha taught it when he identified attachment as the source of suffering and detachment as the path to liberation. Krishna taught it in the Bhagavad Gita when he instructed Arjuna to perform his duty without concern for the fruits of his action. This teaching transcends all religious and philosophical boundaries because it is not a belief but a law, as immutable as gravity. When you assume a state in consciousness and detach from appearances, that state must objectify itself in your experience. This is not magic or mysticism. It is the creative process by which all experience comes into being. I challenge you to test this law in your own life. Select a desire, something you truly want to be, do, or have. Formulate a clear assumption that would be true if this desire were fulfilled. Then live from that assumption while detaching from appearances, letting go of anxiety about results, and focusing on your own path without comparison to others. Do this consistently, and I promise you that your assumption must harden into fact. The seed planted in consciousness must grow into manifestation. The word spoken in the silence of assumption must become flesh in the world of form. Remember always, all things are possible to him that believeth. Your belief, your assumption maintained with detachment and persistence, is the creative power that shapes your world. Use this power consciously, and there are no limits to what you can create in your life. Go now in peace, dwelling in the certainty that your desires are already fulfilled in consciousness and must by law externalize themselves in your experience. God bless you, my friends, and remember, imagination creates reality. Many of you may think of it as some mystical force separate from your daily life. But I tell you now, manifestation is not separate from you. It is you. It is the very essence of your being, the creative power that shapes your entire reality. Imagine, if you will, that your current reality is like a garment you wear. It may feel comfortable, familiar, even inevitable. But I assure you, it is no more permanent or real than the clothes on your back. You can change it just as easily as you change your attire. The secret lies in your imagination and your ability to feel the reality of your desire. Now you might be wondering, Neville, how can I make anything I wish happen? How can I manifest what I want? And therein lies the crux of our discussion today. The power to manifest your desires lies not in some external force, but within you. It is your consciousness, your awareness, that is the very substance of reality. You see, the world you experience is not happening to you. It is happening from you. Every circumstance, every event, every interaction in your life is a reflection of your inner state. These are not random occurrences, but the outpicturing of your assumptions and beliefs. When you truly grasp this, you understand the immense power you hold to shape your reality. So how do we begin this process of manifestation? The first step is to clearly define what you wish to manifest. What is it that you want? Be specific. Don't simply say, I want to be successful. Instead, imagine in vivid detail what your life looks like when you have achieved your desire. How do you feel? What are you doing? How do you spend your time? The more specific and detailed your vision, the more real it becomes in your mind. Once you have this clear vision, the next step is to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is crucial. You must feel the reality of your desire now, not in some distant future. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't understand time. It only understands the present moment. So if you constantly feel that your desire is something in the future, it will always remain in the future. Instead, assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled now. How would you feel if your desire were already realized? Would you feel joyful, confident, free, grateful? Embody these feelings. Live from this state of being. This is not pretending or lying to yourself. This is assuming a new state of consciousness, which is the very essence of creation. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, how can I feel something that isn't yet true? This is where the power of your imagination comes into play. Your imagination is the bridge between your current reality and your desired state. It is through your imagination that you can step into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, even before it manifests in the physical world. Your imagination is not a flight of fancy or a frivolous faculty. It is the very workshop wherein you fashion your future. When you imagine, you are experiencing reality at its most fundamental level. You are engaging with the pure potential of consciousness, shaping it with your attention and your assumption. To use your imagination effectively for manifestation, you must first quiet your conscious mind. The chattering of your daily thoughts, your worries, your doubts, these must be silenced. Enter a state of relaxation, a state akin to sleep, but in which you remain consciously aware. In this state, your subconscious mind becomes more receptive to impression. Once in this relaxed state, construct your scene. This scene should be one that implies the fulfillment of your desire. If your desire is for a successful career, you might imagine yourself in your ideal office or receiving congratulations from colleagues. If it's financial abundance you seek, imagine yourself looking at your bank statement with joy and gratitude. The scene itself should be short and simple. It's not about creating an elaborate story, but about capturing a moment that implies your desire is now a fact. This scene is your platform, the stage upon which you will enact the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Now step into this scene. Don't watch it as a spectator, but experience it from the first-person perspective. Be there in that moment. And as you experience it, let the feeling of fulfillment wash over you. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the satisfaction of having your desire realized. This is where many falter in their attempts at manifestation. They can see the scene clearly, but they fail to evoke the feeling. Remember, it is the feeling that gives life to your imaginal act. Without feeling, visualization is merely a mental exercise. With feeling, it becomes an act of creation. As you practice this, you may find that the feeling comes more easily with repetition. Each time you return to your scene, the feeling becomes more vivid, more real. This is good. You are strengthening the impression upon your subconscious mind. But here's a crucial point. Once you have evoked the feeling, once you have impressed it upon your subconscious, you must carry it with you into your waking life. This is where many stumble. They do their visualization exercise, they feel it intensely in the moment, but then they return to their daily life and fall back into old patterns of thought and feeling. To manifest your desire, to make anything you wish happen, you must maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled, even in the face of contradictory evidence. This is where faith comes in. Not blind faith, but faith born of understanding. Understanding that your outer world is a reflection of your inner state. When you truly grasp this, you will no longer be swayed by appearances. You will know that what you see around you is the effect, not the cause. The cause lies in your consciousness, in your feeling. And as you persist in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, your outer world must reshape itself to match this inner conviction. Now let us address a common challenge in manifestation, the apparent contradictions of your senses. As you begin to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you may find that your current circumstances seem to contradict your assumption. How do you maintain your feeling in the face of these seeming contradictions? This is where the art of ignoring comes into play. To ignore is not to deny the existence of something, but to refrain from giving it your attention and energy. When contradictory evidence appears, acknowledge it briefly, then immediately return your attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Remember, what you see in your outer world is the result of past assumptions, past feelings. It is like an echo of what's believed. Your task now is to give more attention, more importance, more reality to your new assumption than to these outdated circumstances. This practice requires mental discipline. It requires you to stand firm in your new assumption, even when your senses argue against it. But remember, your senses only show you what has been, not what can be. Your imagination, informed by your feelings, shows you what will be. As you persist in maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled, even in the face of contradictory evidence, you will begin to see changes in your outer world. These changes may start small, a fortunate coincidence, an unexpected opportunity, a shift in someone's behavior towards you. Do not dismiss these as mere chance. They are the first fruits of your new assumption taking root. Now, let us delve deeper into the nature of feeling and manifestation. When I speak of feeling, I am not referring merely to emotions, though emotions play a part. I am speaking of a deeper sense, a knowing and unshakable conviction. It is the difference between saying I want to be successful and knowing in the very core of your being I am successful. This feeling conviction is not something you can fake or force. It arises naturally when you have successfully impressed your desire upon your subconscious mind. This is why the repeated use of your imagination is so crucial. Each time you return to your imaginal scene, each time you step into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are deepening this impression. Think of it like wearing a groove in a record. The first time you play the record, the needle may skip and jump. But with repeated plays, the groove deepens and the music plays smoothly. Similarly, as you repeat your imaginal act, the feeling becomes more natural, more habitual. It becomes your dominant state. This is the state from which manifestation occurs. When you can maintain this feeling conviction throughout your day, when it becomes as natural as breathing mastered the art of conscious creation, your outer world has no choice but to conform to this inner state. But what are those moments when doubt creeps in? When fear rises? When the old patterns of thought and feeling try to reassert themselves? These moments are inevitable, especially in the beginning of your practice. Do not be discouraged by them. Instead, see them as opportunities to strengthen your new assumption. When doubt arises, do not fight it. Fighting against the thought only gives it more power. Instead, gently but firmly return to your feeling of wish fulfilled. Remind yourself that what you see around you is the past. Your new assumption, your new feeling is creating your future. This brings us to another crucial aspect of manifestation, the concept of living in the end. Living in the end means assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled in your day-to-day life. It's not enough to visualize for a few minutes each day and then return to your old patterns of thought and feeling. You must carry the feeling of your wish fulfilled with you throughout your day. This doesn't mean you deny your current circumstances. Rather, you acknowledge them briefly, then immediately return to the feeling of your desire fulfilled. You live from the assumption that what you desire is already yours. For example, if your desire is for financial abundance, you would feel the security, freedom, and joy of wealth as you go about your day. When you make purchases, you would feel the ease and confidence of someone who has more than enough. When you interact with others, you would carry yourself with the assurance of a wealthy person. Living in the end requires a shift in your entire way of being. It's not about pretending or play acting. It's about genuinely assuming a new state of consciousness. When you do this effectively, you'll find that your actions naturally align with your assumed state, accelerating the manifestation process. Now let us address the role of action in manifestation. Some people mistakenly believe that manifesting means they can simply imagine their desires and then sit back and wait for them to magically appear. This is not the case. Manifestation does not negate action, it informs action. When you successfully impress your desire upon your subconscious mind, when you truly feel your wish fulfilled, you will be inspired to take actions that align with this state. These actions will feel natural, even inevitable. They will not be driven by fear or lack, but will flow from your assumed state of fulfillment. This is a crucial distinction. When you take action from a place of lack, trying to get what you desire, you are actually affirming the assumption of not having it. But when you take action from the assumption of already having your desire fulfilled, you open yourself to infinite possibilities for its expression and expansion. So do not neglect action, but ensure that your actions are aligned with and flowing from your assumed state. Let your feeling guide your actions, rather than hoping your actions will create the feeling. This alignment of inner state and outer action is key to manifestation. Now let us explore the concept of detachment in relation to manifestation. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care about your desire. Rather, it means you're not anxiously attached to see it. When you're truly living in the end, you can imagine and feel your desire fulfilled without constantly looking for signs of its manifestation. You trust in the process, knowing that as you maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled, it must inevitably express itself in your outer world. Detachment allows you to live in the present moment while holding your assumed state. It frees you from the anxiety and doubt that can slow down the manifestation process. It allows you to enjoy the journey of manifestation rather than being solely focused on the destination. Practice detachment by reminding yourself that your imaginal act, imbued with feeling, is the reality. What you see in the outer world is just a shadow, a reflection of past assumptions. As you persist in your new assumption, this shadow must change to match the new reality you're imagining and feeling. Let us now address the importance of gratitude in manifestation. Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion. It is a powerful creative force. When you feel genuinely grateful, you are affirming that you already have what you desire. This aligns perfectly with the principle of living in the end. Begin to cultivate an attitude of gratitude for your desire, even before you see it manifested in your physical reality. Be thankful for it, as if it were already yours. Feel appreciation for the abundance that surrounds you in all forms. The air you breathe, the sun that shines, the food you eat. As you practice gratitude, you are assuming the state of someone who has their desire fulfilled. This assumption, persistently held, must manifest in your outer world as the realization of your desire. Now let us explore the power of revision in manifestation. Revision is not merely about changing your memories or rewriting your past. It is about recognizing that the past only exists in your mind, and therefore it can be changed in your mind. At the end of each day, take a few moments to review the events of your day. If there were any events that were not in alignment with your desired state, revise them in your imagination. See them unfolding in a way that aligns with your wish fulfilled. Feel the satisfaction, the joy, the fulfillment of this revised version of events. By doing this, you are not denying what physically happened. You are changing the impact of that event on your subconscious mind. You are impressing upon your subconscious a reality that aligns with your desires, rather than one that contradicts them. As you make this practice of revision a habit, you will find that your reactions to current events begin to change. You'll become less reactive, more peaceful, more aligned with your desired states of being. This alignment accelerates the manifestation process. Let us now discuss the importance of persistence in manifestation. While we speak of making anything you wish happen, it's important to understand that the speed of manifestation can vary. Some desires may manifest almost instantly, while others may take more time to fully materialize in your physical reality. The key is to persist in your assumption, regardless of how long it seems to be taking. Remember, the outer world is a reflection of your inner state. If you waver in your assumption, if you lose faith in the process, you send mixed signals to your subconscious mind, which can slow down the manifestation process. Persistence doesn't mean forcing or struggling. It means consistently returning to the feeling of your wish fulfilled, even when the outer world seems to contradict it. It means choosing again and again to live from the end, to embody the state of having your desire realized. This persistence requires faith, not blind faith, but faith born of understanding. Understanding that your outer world is a reflection of your inner state. And that as you persist in your new assumption, your world must reshape itself to match it. Now let us address the role of self-concept in manifestation. Your self-concept, the beliefs you hold about who you are, is perhaps the most powerful factor in determining what you can manifest in your life. Many people struggle to manifest their desires because their self-concept contradicts what they're trying to achieve. They may visualize wealth, but deep down they don't believe they're the kind of person who can be wealthy. They may imagine a loving relationship, but fundamentally believe they're unworthy of love. To manifest effectively, to make anything you wish happen, you must be willing to revise your self-concept. This involves imagining and feeling yourself as the person who already has what you desire. It's not about creating a false image of yourself, but about recognizing and embracing your true, limitless nature. Remember, at your core, you are pure consciousness. You are not defined by your past experiences, your current circumstances, or the opinions of others. You are the awareness in which all these things appear. And this awareness, your true self, is infinite in its potential. As you use your imagination to assume your desired states, you are essentially recreating yourself. You are stepping into a new concept of self, a new understanding of who you are and what's possible for you. This revision of self-concept is crucial for manifestation. As you align your self-concept with your desires, you remove the inner contradictions that can slow down the manifestation process. Now, let us explore the role of emotion in manifestation. Emotion is the fuel that powers your imaginal acts. It's not enough to merely visualize or think about your desires. You must feel them. When you combine vivid imagination with genuine emotion, you create a powerful impression on your subconscious mind. This is because your subconscious responds more strongly to feeling than to intellectual thought. The emotions you want to cultivate are those you would feel if your desire were already realized. If your desire is for wealth, feel the security, the freedom, the joy that comes with financial abundance. If it's a loving relationship you seek, feel the love, the connection, the companionship. These emotions should be so real, so intense, that when you open your eyes and return to your present circumstances, you carry with you a sense of fulfillment, as if your desire has already been realized. This emotional component is what distinguishes effective manifestation from mere daydreaming or wishful thinking. When you can genuinely feel your desire as an accomplished fact, you are impressing it upon your subconscious mind as a reality. Your subconscious then works tirelessly to bring this feeling into physical manifestation. When you combine vivid imagination with genuine, intense emotion, you create a powerful impression on your subconscious mind. This is because your subconscious responds more strongly to feeling than to intellectual thought. The emotions you want to cultivate are those you would feel if your desire were already realized. If your desire is for wealth, feel the security, the freedom, the joy that comes with financial abundance. If it's a loving relationship you seek, feel the love, the connection, the companionship. These emotions should be so real, so intense, that when you open your eyes and return to your present circumstances, you carry with you a sense of fulfillment, as if your desire has already been realized. This emotional component is what distinguishes effective rapid manifestation from mere daydreaming or wishful thinking. When you can genuinely feel your desire as an accomplished fact, you are impressing it upon your subconscious mind as a reality. Your subconscious then works tirelessly to bring this feeling into physical manifestation and to do so within the hour. As we near the conclusion of our exploration, remember this: the power to manifest your greatest desire in 1 hour lies within you. It resides in your ability to imagine vividly, to feel deeply, and to persist faithfully in the assumption of your wish fulfilled. The secret to rapid manifestation is not determined by external factors, but by the intensity of your belief and the consistency of your imaginal acts. Go forth from here with this knowledge. Apply these principles in this crucial hour. Use your imagination consciously and deliberately to create scenes that imply the fulfillment of your greatest desire. Feel the reality of your wish fulfilled with every fiber of your being. Persist in this feeling, even when your senses deny it, for as you do, you are reshaping your entire world, manifesting your desire with a speed and precision that might seem miraculous to others. Remember, you are the operant power in your world. You are limited only by your ability to imagine and to feel the reality of your wishes fulfilled. Embrace this truth. Live from this understanding and watch as your world transforms around you, reflecting the newfound mastery of your creative consciousness. The ability to manifest your greatest desire in 1 hour is not something external to you. It is not a technique or a trick. It is the fundamental truth of your being, that you are the creator of your reality. As you align your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions with this truth, you step into a state of continuous creation, of perpetual manifestation. In this crucial hour, be vigilant. Be conscious of your thoughts, your feelings, your assumptions. Choose them wisely, for they are the seeds of your immediate future. Let every thought be a thought of fulfillment, every feeling a feeling of accomplishment, every assumption an assumption of your wish realized. For in doing so, you are creating a life of instant manifestation. As you embark on this journey of rapid conscious creation, know that you are aligning yourself with the very power that creates worlds. You are stepping into your divine birthright as a co-creator of reality. Embrace this power, use it wisely, and let it guide you to the swift realization of your greatest desire. Thank you, and may your hour-focused manifestation be filled with wonder, excitement, and the thrill of seeing your deepest desire come to life before your eyes. Remember, the power to manifest what you want most is not a distant dream, but a present reality within your consciousness. From this moment forward, live from that state, embody that reality, and watch as your world conforms to your empowered state of being. Go now and create the life of your dreams in this very hour, for you are the master of your destiny, the author of your immediate reality.